Hello everyone, and welcome back to the devlog for May. This time things are changed a little bit because I also went back into June by like a week or two. That's because I've been working on multiplayer and things weren't really working out, so working on that coding there, and I kind of felt bad because I felt like I wasn't getting things done. But then after going through an entire list of things I did this month, a lot of stuff got done. So I'm not feeling too bad. Most players still making progress. Without further ado, let's just jump into it. I'll tell you guys what's been changing over this past month. So let's go over the list quick. So we have animations V1. It's going to be all the animation changes for the character here, and there's a reason why I'm calling it V1. We'll get into that. UI updates. We also have a new multiplayer test map. Weapon concepts. Starting to add in those weapons. Updates to the slide. Team growth. Not really growth, it's just changing more responsibilities of who's doing what. Social media changes, as well as loading animation titles and more, and extra stuff here and there. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So for Animations V1, Animations V1 implies the changes made to the locomotion systems here with all of the first animations that James has done. Now, here's the first problem with these changes. We did all the animations in the classical sense, where we did all the animations based off of the ground, which is standardly what you do for animations. You have your characters relative to the ground or whatever servers they're on. But in our case, because we're doing it in VR, everything needs to be relative to the headset. Because you gotta keep in mind, your movement is based off of your headset. So with that, we gotta go through and make those changes. However, with that said, we do have a good baseline here. We did learn a lot from our first version, and we're going to be going through and do those changes soon. So, for example, we do have basic walking around pretty well as running. The problem with running, as you'll see here, you might be able to see parts of my chin or face here popping up. Again, that's part of the problem with the head not being in the same relative position. Same time, also made updates to the arms. The arms are now set up with a different type of IK. They're also kind of stretchy. There's a little bit of stretch in there now, just to try to make it feel better. At the same time, there's a little bit of an offset here with the wrist to the bracer, so I gotta fix that, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I just gotta tighten some things up, literally, with the IK. I also made it so that way the pull vector for the IK is dependent on the position of the wrist. So there's a point behind the wrist and then up a little bit that's being used as a pull vector for the arms. So what that means is practically your arms are always going to be pretty much close to where your wrist is kind of aiming, but at the same time it makes it feel and look much more natural, as you can see here. So yeah, I think it works pretty well. So that's pretty much it for V1. Again, we gotta make updates to also squatting. We also have squatting crouches and so on. And again, the displacement between the hand and the bracer is based off of the head and shoulders not being in the same spot. And the feet are also going through the ground. I gotta update the height difference there, change the actual height position for the feet, and stuff like that. I want to do like a foot IK to fix this, so it's always touching the ground. But it works out pretty well. There's also jump animation cycles and so on. So I feel very nice, The fall cycle, actually, let me do it quick. Let me get somewhere up high. So as I fall here, you'll see that the leg goes further down, and there's a secondary action of the waist shaking there. Goes back to that. Super nice animation. I love the work that James did. It's great. So next up on the list is going to be our UI changes. So our UI, I wanted to update so that way the menus actually felt a lot better. They didn't really fit in with the style of the game, so I want to make sure that style-wise they fit in, and at the same time I wanted to make sure that the actual settings were set up properly. So I'm still plugging in some of the things for the settings, but the options are there. So without further ado, let me just show you. So one thing I also set up too is that it shows up in front of your face instead of on your arm. I felt like on the arm it was too close, couldn't really interact with it properly. I felt like this was much better. I also have it set up so it doesn't rotate with your head. It just stays vertical. That way it's less disorienting for players whenever they're in game. So as you can see here, I went and tried to get like a hologram look. I think it came out pretty well. And you're able to also go back through to different menus and so on, or crowd out the game, which is super nice, because before I had to just take off the headset and close out the instance and so on. So those are just nice options to have. For when it comes to the settings, I brought back a lot of the old settings I already had. For example, setting up your left and right hand. But there's also some changes here as well. So for example, what changed up here is the holsters, as you'll see, change position. So now on the right side, there's where my, let me get a gun here. So you can see holsters now on the right side. But if I want to be lefty, because I am in my case, go back, change this to left, and now it's on my left. So that works out so much better. It's able to flip it for whether or not you're lefty or righty, and that's really the only change that's happening there with that control, physically to the character. All the other options here are going to be changing up your locomotion hand, your jump hand, you know, your sprint input, whether it's going to be based off clicking in on your stick or being the opposite of your jump button, because technically if you're on quest, you're going to have your, what even button is that? X. Right now I have it, I believe it's A over here for jump. I even have it there like that. And again, there's still like the things like the auto height calculator, being able to adjust this like so, and so on. So a lot of these old settings are back. I also made it so that way for the turn angle, there's again the original 3, so there's continuous, which is right now set to 1, or smooth. Some people call it smooth. 90-degree turns, 45s, but also 0 in case you don't want to turn. You have the option to just turn it completely off. So that's what that's there for. And then I still got to do some things for seated or standing. So yeah. And I also have things set up for video and audio. There's not like no stuff here yet, but the tabs themselves are set up so I can swap in between them, which is nice. So let's go back real quick to here. That's really it for the menu updates. Just want to make sure that the actual menus were working out well. Well, that's not really it. I can also say it's a fun final thing. I updated the hand animation as well as the pointer updated so there's actually like a sphere on the end. And add a little bit more of a glow to the pointer so it's clearer to identify. For the next thing, let's go back to the main menu quick. So, give it a second to load here, and you'll see that I'm now in the main menu, and the first thing that will pop up and we'll see are the settings. That's how I want things to be in the game whenever you load up the first time, is to see your settings. That way players can just start up and set things and feel comfortable. Moving over here, though, you'll see I started trying to figure out some multiplayer stuff, some basic buttons here. But let's look at the main menu here as it was before. Now, these buttons were kind of set up just basically. I still actually need to change this to look like a hologram. But you'll see here that there's these different levels. If we go to the test level, this is the room that we're just in. Campaign level is the level you guys have seen before in other devlogs. While the co-op demo is actually our multiplayer demo level. So let's load into that. So this is our multiplayer demo level map. There's a lot of D and M words in this. It just makes my brain jumble. Pretty much this is going to be used for multiplayer testing and making sure that everything works out cohesively, right? Now it's funny, I actually think I did this at half scale because I upscaled the texture in the test level. So technically things are supposed to be around this scale. I'm just squatting down now, but in actuality, they're like half that. Well, that said, it's still good it's just for testing, so it works out well. It's good for me to figure out like what's good, what's not good for situations like this. Like for pathing, for just when I get to testing out multiplayer and getting people to join in the same level, this will be that level. So that's what this guy is good for. At the same time, we're also working on new weapon concepts. This month is dedicated mainly for weapons, getting a weapon class system set up, and also just adding in all the weapons. So as you'll see here, we have all these new concepts that we're working on. There's going to be over 20 weapons in total added to the game. So with that in mind, I want to make sure that they all feel good and are, are also unique. So in this process, we actually already started adding in some of these new weapons. For example, this one here is called the Phasotron. Works just like any other blaster. Which also, by the way, with my new system for the weapons, this only took me like a couple hours to get coded in and make sure that all of its functionality is working, which is super nice. But yeah, so it works like any other blaster. It's able to blast, so on. But its special ability is that if you do this, it will close its heat shields, and it will be a plasma cutter. And it'll be an extra melee bonus if you hit somebody with that. And over time, it will take charge as it does that. So that is super nice. That is super nice. put that on there and that on there. One thing I am going to have to pay attention to, though, is in multiplayer, is whenever you have something that's big like this, that it doesn't prevent blaster shots from colliding with you. So I think I gotta make it so whenever you holster something, it turns off collisions. I can work on that as well. What else? Oh, updates to the slide animation. So this is beyond just animation. So it's actually slide functionality as well. So before, the slide would just go for a bit and then stop. Now it's set up so that way, one, when you slide, you actually are stuck in that dimension. You can't like go in a different direction. You're stuck in that direction. But there's also the slide animation where your foot actually goes out, which is super nice. Makes it much more cohesive. You also start off at your running speed and then go to your crouch speed. And halfway through, if you want to stand back up, you can start standing back up and start running again sooner as well. So that's super nice. I feel like might want to make it last longer. I might play around with that. But just these basic updates to the slide make it feel so much better. So yeah. What else do we have? That's pretty much it for right now in game. I also updated the scanner. I need to update the animations here. But the scanner is back in game. I just need to get the functionality of it working again. I updated it to be similar to the object pickup system here, but instead it will just auto snap back to my belt instead of being like a physics object. So yeah, there's that. But other than that, that's pretty much it for in-game. Let's talk about team growth for a second. So our team has been really taking on more responsibilities, and I can't be more thankful to the guys for helping me out as much as they have. Tyler's been able to help out a lot with the legal stuff, and we're actually officially a business now. We are Dark Crest Studios LLC, which is just crazy to think about how we are like now legally a business. We're still going through a lot of the process and paperwork for that. I'm starting to bring on team members now and figure out like what licensing we need, but it's just crazy for me to think about. What else? Evan is taking over social media. So our friend Evan, he's been helping out on side projects here and there, and he wanted to take over social media, not only doing the posting, but also doing the editing. So he actually edited our most recent TikTok, which actually is doing kind of well. And yeah, it's just crazy to see how much effort he's been putting into it. He's been really killing it there. He also made us a new Twitter, which is nice. So if you guys have Twitter, I don't personally use it, but if you want to check it out, the studio now has one, and Evan is posting things there. So go ahead and check that out. James, again, is killing it with the animations here. Going to be doing updates to the animations for this character. Also going to be doing animations for other characters in the future, like NPCs and enemies. So that's going to be nice. And on top of that, there's also going to be cinematics that he's going to be working on. Currently going through some boards, which I can't show yet because it shows cinematic stuff. But yeah, he's going to be working on some more animation stuff like that in the future. Very soon, very soon. And lastly, Jake has been doing a lot of the title sequence stuff. So for example, the titles loading in, and he has a lot of experience in After Effects. So I really want to make sure I can leverage him in a way so he can show off his stuff, and we can also have a cool looking title where it loads in and all that. So that's coming out well. I'm also going to see if I can get him into particle effects, because I know there's a lot of tangents between particles and to what he's kind of doing in After Effects. They can kind of blend. So I want to see if he'd like that, and then try to see if he would jump into that kind of wheelhouse for what we're doing. But that's pretty much it for right now. We're still working on multiplayer, still going to be adding in more weapons. Make sure that they work and feel good. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this devlog. There's been a lot. There's probably even more stuff that I'm not even thinking of right now. I just wanted to get through this quick. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, make sure to reach out to us on our Discord. Check out our TikTok and other social media. And I hope you guys have a good day, good night, whatever it is. I hope it's going good. Peace out.